In this problem, we're asked to determine the Z parameters for the two-port network shown below. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to basically connect a couple of boxes and label our port variables. So for instance, here we have V1, V2, and then I1 and I2. And our Z parameters are going to be V1 is Z11 I1 plus Z12 times I2, and then V2 is Z21 I1 plus Z22 times I2. So now the way that we'll find our parameters is, for instance, we'll set I2 equal to 0 in one case. That will allow us to find Z11 and Z12. Then we'll go in and set I1 equal to 0, and that allows us to find the other two. So first, let's let I2 equal 0. Okay. So if we look at our circuit then, notice if we apply KCL here, there's I1 entering here, okay, 2I1 entering here, okay, and then here's I1, okay, here's I1, there's 2I1 here. So now we know the currents in all the branches, and what we're trying to solve for, remember, is V1 is Z11 I1, V2 is Z21 I2. So if we look at our circuit now and do KVL around this loop, we'll have V1 is 10 plus 5 times I1, which is 15 I1. So then Z11 is 15 ohms. And then if we look for V2, and if we apply KVL around this loop, we note that there's the current here at this point in the circuit is 2I1. So then V2 is minus J4 times 2I1 plus 5I1, which is 5 minus J8 I1. So Z21 is 5 minus J8. Okay, so now that's two of our parameters. Now let's go in and set I1 equal to 0. Okay, here's our circuit. Now we have I1 equal to 0. And if we look KCL here, that tells us that's I2. And again, what we're looking for now is V1 is Z12 I2, and V2 is Z22 I2. So if we look then, V1 is going to equal 5I2, and that's because the voltage across here is 0. So then that tells us that Z12 is 5 ohms. And then if we come around this way, around this loop, we know I1 is equal to 0. Okay. So this is equal to 0. So then this tells us that I2 is the current there. So then V2 is 5 minus J4 times I2. So then Z22 is 5 minus J4 ohms.